This is going to be the way I feel the top ways to actually fix the wrestling business as a whole. It means WWE, TNA, ROH, any kind of federation that you can think of that does wrestling. It's just really basically I'm going to talk about WWE and TNA, what I think will fix the problems that they're having with all the things that just have left wrestling that is not there anymore. So we'll get started. Start with the social media. The social media is killing the WWE. It's a great thing to have the fans involved, but that's what YouTube is for, and that's what Twitter and stuff is for. I mean, that's for us to discuss what we feel needs to happen, not for the WWE to think they can just grab every kind of social media outlet and think that they can run it like they're trying to do with the XFL and the movies and all the things that they're trying to do, that they can't concentrate on wrestling anymore, which doesn't make sense. I don't understand how you can have a wrestling company and all you're worried about is Facebook and Twitter and what's trending worldwide. We all know that wrestling is popular, so we all know that it's trending. Why do we need to have you tell us that it is? Another thing you could do is have stricter rules enforced, like really disqualifying people and really putting forth the effort to have a great match. You know, it's something that's been lost along the way. It used to be 30-minute time limits for matches that you had on a regular sanctioned show that you got week in and week out. It's just that the match card for a Monday Night Superstars before Raw was even invented was at least 20 to 25 minute time limit for the main event. You see TNA doing this a lot. They actually have 20, 22 minutes at the end of their show dedicated to the main event, even though it may end up in a disqualification or anything. It's just that part of TNA is what I like. They actually are trying to get back to the way it was. And not to say that they need to go back to, 1970 or whatever, but around the 80s and early 90s that people actually got into it. They got invested into it. They wanted to see what was going to happen. And if you have stricter rules like disqualifications, and when you throw a man over the top rope, it should be a disqualification, like it used to be back in the day. You got to enforce rules. You have to have rules in this. That's why you have all this chaos all over the place. Just the matches are all over the place. It's just all over the place. There's got to be some organization in this so that you can actually have a good show. I don't understand why you guys can't make it happen. Another thing you could do is split the shows up and not have them just carry over. It's sickening. It's ridiculous. Because without the Raw reviews on here and things that I actually watch from guys that actually know what they're talking about and know the business, know what to look for and what not to look for, and to seep through all the people that says that it sucks, I'm trying to help here. And if you split the shows up and not have it carry over to SmackDown, all it is, Raw is the flagship show, the main one. Then you got main event that was good when it first came out, and now it's just like the jobbers that didn't make Raw. And the highlights of some things. SmackDown is just a recap of Raw with a main event that didn't make the show. Saturday Morning Superstars, I don't even know if that's still on TV. And then you got it back to Raw. It's all the same thing. They're all fighting. The matches on SmackDown happen on Raw. The matches on Raw happen on SmackDown. It's just the same thing, revamped over and over, rehashed over and over. And it's just ridiculous. It can't keep doing it. It can't keep going like this, because if it does, it's just going to be a replay of, it's like Days of Our Lives. You miss 16 years of it and you turn it back on, and the same people are on there. They've died 20 times and they're still alive. I don't understand how this is getting this bad to where it's going to be like this. We have to break these shows up. We have to have either make SmackDown an edgy product, bring ECW back, let Paul Heyman run it, and let WWE be for the kids, because USA's a bigger network. It's like Spike lets TNA get away with murder, and SmackDown could get away with a whole lot on Sci-Fi, because I see a lot of those cheesy-ass dinosaurs that bite people's heads off and blood and everything. So I don't understand why WWE doesn't make SmackDown an ECW type feel, because we're getting burnt out on WWE. I mean, you can only flex your muscles so much before people actually get tired of it and find out what you're really about. Another thing is character development. If you develop a character, you do not want to develop him to the point to where he's going to be gone in 3 weeks. I see him do it with Cody Rhodes. I've seen him do it with Tenzai. I've seen him do it with Ryback. Ryback just had Feed Me More catch on. And it wasn't 3 months later he was saying Ryback rules. Just because he had to face John Cena and he had to be the heel. I just don't understand why you can't have a character develop himself and at least run it out for a little while and let it seep in. Give it time to actually evolve. Sometimes a character change will go in between Raw and main event, and it doesn't even make it to SmackDown. That's how cheap it is. It's ridiculous. It's just they need, and another thing they need to work on is storylines. Have some better writers. Ever since JR left, it's been shit. It's been hell. It's just pitiful. Wrestling is not what it used to be, and it can be again. They got all kinds of talent that they can. These kids nowadays, they look at this and they're like, wow, what is this? This is awesome. If they watch what we watched back in 96 and 97, they would be having nightmares and yelling to their mom in the middle of the night, telling them that Kane set them on fire in their dreams. I mean, this is how bad it's gotten, that adults can't even watch it, and there's no development for the kids to even get behind. All they got is a dancing dinosaur, Brodus Clay. I mean, that's not good. And Tenzai fell into the trap. I mean, it's just pitiful that they got what they got going on, and they don't have nothing else. I mean, better booking's what they need. They need to book matches that actually mean something. Don't have Damian Sandow going against Kane. You know, it doesn't make sense. He should be fighting somebody like, well, Sheamus is a good storyline. It's like making fun of how stupid he is and Irish and stuff or whatever. But, I mean, they're actually doing something there. But you can't have Big Show go against Rey Mysterio. It doesn't make sense. Big Show would kill Rey Mysterio. And they've done it before. They allow this to happen. And they won't give us a reason for it. And the last two things on my agenda to help make WWE, TNA, and wrestling in general better is to make the championship mean something. The WWE Championship has the only one that has been relevant for a while. Maybe the World Champion, but I can't remember it being relevant back till Daniel Bryan had it. I mean, you got to have these championships mean something. I remember when the Intercontinental Championship, when Bret Hart held it and Shawn Michaels, it was almost more sought after than the world title. Bret Hart made that championship look like he was the champion. Shawn Michaels made that championship look like he's the champion. And now, the U.S. title used to be when Luger and Sting and all the people from WCW that built that title and made them, Harley Race, all these people that gave their sweat and tears and their blood that bled on these titles and defended them every night and gave everything they had. They have now these people that don't even care whether they have the title or not. It's just to put it on it. They don't even know how to push people anymore. They just think because they throw a title on them that they're awesome. And it doesn't work that way. They want to sell some t-shirts, throw a title on them. No, it doesn't work that way anymore. You have to build it. At least now with Dean Ambrose and the Shield having the tag team titles, it may be a legitimate chance to bring these titles back to the prominence that they once were. I mean, the Intercontinental title was the best. It should have been. It was the Intercontinental title was the #1 contender for the world title, or the WWE title back then, and the U.S. Championship was the #1 contender for the SmackDown title back then when WCW had it. And now these championships aren't relevant. They're not. They're just not pushing them the way that they're supposed to be. And that brings me to my last point. They have to do this. Have to push the young talent. Even in TNA, I love Sting, my favorite wrestler of all time. Sting and Hogan need to get the hell out. They need to get out. And Bully Ray, he's on the downside of his career. He's almost at the bottom of the hill. But he's a cool guy. He's a good character. He just needs to let the young talent come up and get a taste of it. And in WWE, they need to book the young talent. And just, I hope they do something with this NXT Wyatt family type thing, because Daniel Bryan needs to be pushed. And he needs a chance, because the only person that you see that gets a reaction. Now watch this next time you watch Raw and SmackDown. The only one that gets a reaction without having edited cheers, edited boos, and edited reactions is Daniel Bryan. He is the face of the company, and he will be for the next 10 to 15 years. CM Punk is too, but Daniel Bryan is the real person, and CM Punk needs to be pushed. All these young people need to be pushed. Triple H needs to sit down behind that desk and write something down, because he doesn't need to wrestle no more. Give it to Curtis Axel, Mr. Perfect. If he's a third of what Mr. Perfect was, he's going to be awesome. Let Cody Rhodes, let all these third-generation superstars earn their place in history. They need to do this, and it will help tremendously for the WWE. Now Randy Orton, now John Cena, now even Sheamus. They're the veterans, and they need to let these young guys come up. And I don't know who Cena's going to pass the torch to, but the way it's looking, Ryback was the Cena 10 years ago, or Cena was the Ryback 10 years ago. Either way, either or, somebody needs to get that title off of Cena. And Cena needs to develop this character and let people develop other characters, or he needs to do something different. But those are a couple ways to help the WWE, and I hope you enjoy this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, we all have a video camera, we all have internet, and we all have an opinion.